It said sorry to Florida State, but it doesn't care because it's still going to predict they're going to lose this week. um, well, we screwed up week one, and by we I mean me, and by me I mean the system. Their support literally said for some reason it ran out of storage, and we don't know why. I was like, awesome. So
They
I
were just
not only
hating. They knew
lost
how good of
your
an
voice,
episode it was.
I know. Literally, I not only lost all of your audio, I lost half of mine, and it only recorded like 10 minutes. And I was like, well, that's great. So we have 3 fail safes. So it's going to happen regardless. It can't stop us
What they
now.
want.
So instead of us saying happy week one, happy week two. So week one recap of everything that happened. I mean, what are your initial thoughts, Caleb, on the week?
Initial thoughts go off of kind of my prediction from last week, as I said, I feel like week one is always the most like defensive week because the offensive take a little bit to come around, minus the
Yeah.
blowout win from the Ducks and Tigers
From Oregon.
game. Ducks put up 74
I
points.
know. Yeah.
I thought a lot of the games I like was able to watch, they were fairly defensive. There was a lot of turnovers and interceptions.
Yeah.
So all the offenses, I think, still need a
Yeah.
little bit of work.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Obviously, I wasn't there, so I can't. I can just speak off what Captain sent me and what I can kind of go with by the scores. But I mean, I think you're right. Like, I think some teams can show that they might have been an all-around team, like Notre Dame and Florida State, like scoring in the 40s while only giving up like 30 and 26 for our flag league. That's pretty low. Typically, are pretty high scoring. So I think they're good all-around teams. I mean, you personally played Florida State. But I kind of think like overall, I do think ChatGPT had one major one wrong in Florida State. Now it did predict them to lose by 8 points to Oregon this week. Obviously Oregon coming off the big win, 74-18 against a possibly down LSU team. But I mean, nonetheless, a 74-18 win is still impressive no matter who you playing. I mean, for you personally, what was the game like against Florida State? I mean, do you think they're legit? Do you think it's just a one-game fluke?
Yeah, they're for sure legit. I mean, it's a high octane offense. Anytime you get JMO in there, they run a lot of
Right.
like laterals and motion, just getting the ball into his hands as much as possible. And then you combine him with Cameron, they're both crazy fast. And it's hard to, as the quarterback of the opposing team, it's hard to throw against a defense like that where they have two guys with insane closing speed where you might think you have an outbreaking route with it open and then either one of them come down and close it out pretty quick. So we struggled to move the ball against them. And then we also only had one sub. So we were kind of playing a little bit down, but that doesn't really indicate how the game turned out. It went the way it did because of their offense.
Right. Well, I mean, I think definitely like the scores kind of maybe speak for themselves. I mean, the tier one teams, I think Notre Dame and Oregon, I think it'll still, my thing is like it might still come down to them. Especially because they play each other in week 7. Notre Dame, obviously, I think is a very well-rounded team based off the scores and kind of just, again, things I've heard. Their strength of schedule got a little bit better based on teams. So their strength of schedule went from actually the easiest schedule to now the 4th hardest. Just kind of going off of, like, again, Oregon playing a little bit better. Tennessee proving that they are a squad. So that Tennessee-Notre Dame game actually being game of the week this week. Notre Dame is favored by 6, and I'll be interested to see that one. But Notre Dame, Oregon, kind of that championship level, according to ChatGPT. Tier 2 going into contenders with Tennessee and Florida State kind of working their way up there in Vanderbilt with a solid win over, I think, a good TCU team, I think also as well. Then those middle of the pack with TCU, Indiana, San Diego State. I know San Diego State kind of had a tough loss, but still think they competed against that stacked Tennessee team, I think. And then, I mean, we do have a struggling category where LSU and Ole Miss, I'm sorry to say, ChatGPT after week 1 thinks you guys will go 0-7. So I do think you need to prove them wrong. I don't think any team is 0-7 worthy here. We got some skill here. So I don't know about that one. But, I mean, our final rankings haven't changed too much. Notre Dame being 7-0, again, being predicted. Oregon 6-1, Florida State 5-2, or I think that's right. Yeah. Tennessee, Vanderbilt, TCU, Indiana, San Diego State, LSU, Ole Miss in that order. So not too much shifting. I think Florida State kind of proved itself in week 1, and I think it will continue to prove themselves. But tough matchup against Oregon this week. Definitely be not the game of the week, but definitely a game to watch. But, I mean, I think biggest takeaways for me, I shouldn't say surprised, but how we talked about Josh Nelson in Tennessee last week, even though me and you were the only ones that heard that conversation. But I mean, you had him as an MVP pick, and I think that team has proved that they're a number 1 seed potentially, or in a contender, and Josh definitely as MVP worthy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I think Tennessee and your team, Vanderbilt, possibly, in my opinion, are the 2 teams that are getting slept on the most. I mean, I know you guys weren't there, or you were not there for the matchup versus TCU, and I wasn't able to witness it
Right.
but from everybody that I talked to, that was a game. So
Yeah.
Vanderbilt, Tennessee, like, I'm not counting any of you guys out, and I'm looking at like where the rankings are, like, and you can look at the middle of the pack and be like, oh yeah, there's Tennessee, Vanderbilt, TCU, Indiana in the middle of the pack, and you can make an argument that any of those teams like deserve to not be in the middle and they deserve to be in the top 3. But then you look at the top 3 and I'm like, man, who's sliding out? It's like you got Notre Dame,
exactly,
who's stacked, Oregon, who put up the most offensive points and also held their opponent to the least amount of points in week 1. I'm like, who are you going to budge out of that top 3? So it's pretty interesting. And like you said, you can't count anybody out in this league. Like, you got Ole Miss and the LSU down at the bottom. Anything can happen, man. It's like, I look back to the very first season on the team that I was on. We started out, I think, 0-4, 0-5, and then we ended up winning the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like you can get upset by looking at the like final standings and wherever this ChatGPT like puts us, but I don't know, man. It's like anything can happen, and it's still technically it's still week 1, week 2 hasn't unfolded, but
right. And I mean, I think I completely agree with you, because I mean, like we talked about, with everybody getting in the playoff, everybody gets, a ticket to the dance. So it's like we really just have 7 weeks of, I don't want to call it preseason because the games still matter, but I mean, you have 7 weeks of practice to get to that show. So I mean, Tennessee with Cam and Ross, like that combination being really explosive. I know they had some defensive touchdowns, which defense wins championships. So I might be a little biased, but I think in this league, if you can steal a possession from somebody, it can be a big swing. But I mean, obviously Florida State's offense with their multiple quarterbacks proved they were legit, but I still think Notre Dame and Oregon are on a collision course. But I agree with you. I mean, like, I don't think any team is out of it. Obviously, it's only week 1, but you look at those top 3, and I'll throw Tennessee top 4, and you're just like, man, I don't know who you would move down. I don't know who necessarily would be number 1. Like, I think Notre Dame is a complete team, but I also think like Oregon's just explosive. I think Florida State is complete and can be explosive, and then obviously Tennessee putting up the amount of points that they did is just crazy. It's going to be interesting. I mean, rolling into kind of like the week 2 betting, if you want to call it, or week 2 favorites, we'll say.
Not encouraging any sports betting on this podcast.
Not encouraging anything, but week 2 favorites. So Notre Dame favored by 6 points over Tennessee. Oregon favored by 8 points over Florida State. TCU favored by 9 points over LSU. Indiana favored by 7 points over Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt with the biggest spread this week, favored by 10 points for San Diego State. Anything in there kind of surprise you or make sense?
Really looking forward to that Notre Dame and Tennessee matchup. I'm interested to see what unfolds there. It's a Xavier versus Josh, like 2 veterans that have been around since season 1 in this league. It's going to be interesting. I think I don't know. I'm looking at that spread and I kind of like it, but I can also see it going a completely different way.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely
not sure
don't
what way it goes, but I don't know. I think it might be a little bit different than a 6-point swing.
I think 6 points is a lot for this matchup. I think it could be like coming down to a 2-point conversion or a last second play. So maybe 6 points, like 1 possession in general. but I could see it being a 1-2 point game the way things are going. I mean, kind of same thing with that Oregon Florida State matchup with it being an 8-point spread. I know it's one possession. Again, we got 1 week in the books, but I think that's a lot. And I mean, again, I think comes down to a 2-point conversion and everything like that. But for me, everything else is, I think, on par. I think TCU, obviously, with a frustrating loss to Vanderbilt, I definitely think they'll bounce back against LSU. LSU and Ole Miss got some things to prove, so I definitely think they will improve. But obviously, you guys in Indiana are still a solid team, so I still think you take that and cover the spread by 7. And then obviously, I got to be confident with Vanderbilt going up 10 against San Diego State. So
I think the other one that I do have circled is what you mentioned. The other one I have circled is what you mentioned with TCU. When they played you guys last week, they didn't have their quarterback because their rookie to this league, was playing nationals somewhere for professional flag football. But apparently he's making his first time appearance in the league this week. So look out, LSU. That could be an interesting dynamic to add to their
could be an interesting
offense.
week. I mean, that is a factor. I mean, obviously, I wasn't playing either, so would the score have really changed that much? I mean, I'm pretty national caliber as well, obviously. So
Kevin's not, but I would say you are. You know, I got to get my stats in it. Kevin.
Exactly. No, I think it'll be interesting. Definitely some good matchups. I mean, obviously strong favorites, Vanderbilt and TCU this week, especially with TCU's quarterback coming back. Upset watch, though, Tennessee over Notre Dame, because, I mean, Notre Dame still predicted to win every game so far and win it all. Again, like we talked about earlier, anything in this league can happen. So I think if Cam and Ross go off, if Josh goes off again, I think it could be a game, especially if Tennessee jumps out to an early lead. It might be tough for Notre Dame to kind of wrap it up. But I'm also interested to see Florida State, obviously, with a convincing win, sadly, over you guys. But that Oregon team is very explosive. Obviously, a very well-rounded team, only giving up 18 points, scoring 74. I mean, they sent me notes. So they got a squad. So it's not going to be a cakewalk by any means. I think it'll be a great game. That's something else to look forward to. But still, game of the week, Notre Dame, Tennessee will be a good matchup. We do now also, rolling into our last couple slides here, but we do also now have our first offensive and defensive rankings. Now, obviously, we only have 1 week to go off of. And by offensive, I mean just points scored in general. Obviously, I could try and count defensive touchdowns and stuff, but obviously, Oregon topping it out with 74 points in the first week and LSU down at the bottom with 18. But, I mean, we still got time. Like you've said before, week 1, sometimes offenses struggle just because we don't know what works and what doesn't. You don't know what you have. Same thing with defense. I mean, things might break down. So I wouldn't fire the entire front office for LSU just yet. They got some time. But I also wouldn't say Oregon's 100% safe either with their front office. But, you know, we got some things to do. Excited in general, but I know me and you talked about top quarterbacks, MVP picks in the podcast that will never be aired to history. Has any of that changed for you?
No, I was actually just thinking, I'm like, if we wanted to, just for giggles, we can run that back. I would say a lot of my picks would still be the same.
I think mine would be the same so far.
I
still like, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah, so to recap to everyone that's listening that's not sure what we did. So I proposed last week to Matt an option of how we could go about this. I asked him to list his top 3 quarterbacks in the league, or we could do this kind of like a snake draft where each of us would take 3 quarterbacks, essentially rounding out what we presume to be the top 6 quarterbacks in the league. And I believe I let you have the first pick last week.
You did. I took Dylan Lehman. And I'm not trying to be biased with my own quarterback, but I mean, seeing him play in high school, knowing what he's capable of, I think he's the top quarterback for me.
Yeah. That dude can sling it. I mean, he's got that baseball pedigree. he's got that, like, a shortstop arm slot. You know, the little. It's not sidearm, but you can tell he's a baseball player.
Exactly. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And with my
I mean,
pick for
he's an
my first
athlete.
pick, the second pick was hands down. I had to take Seth Parsley. And you look at the the
Yeah, I know.
offensive rankings and 74 points. I think it's a safe pick right there because that offense runs
I
through
think it's a
Seth and
safe pick as well.
his ability to dissect the defense. And we did confirm. Our question was, is how many MVPs has he won? He's got two MVPs, and he got Captain of the Year last
He
year.
does, yes.
He's got two rings, so you
Yeah.
can't argue with the stats.
Yeah.
The
I
dude's
agree with
balling.
that. Yeah, exactly. My second pick, I actually had, as much as I hate to say it, with the friendly rivalry I have with him, but Isaac leading that TCU team as well. I mean, obviously, I didn't get to play him this week and pick him off a couple times, but I still think he's a top quarterback. I think he's a little underrated. Some people might not think about him, but dude is accurate as all get out, can run when he needs to, but he'll definitely get the ball out quick and make sure it's accurate. So I took Isaac for sure.
Yeah, Isaac's a good pick. I mean, that dude's always making plays, and his versatility too. It's like I know this is a quarterback pick, but like he's also able to split out at a receiver. And every time I look over at like if I'm on the sidelines like watching his game, the dude's always making crazy plays, be it at receiver or at quarterback.
Mm
So I like that pick.
hmm. Mm hmm.
He always pulls up in like the sweatpants and like the toboggan. It's kind of like
I
his
know.
iconic look. So once you see that out on the field, you better watch out.
He's got the NFL street kind of look, in my opinion, with
That's a
that
good way to
toboggan.
describe it. With my
But
second
your
pick,
second pick, yeah.
yeah, I ended up taking the quarterback that we faced up against in week one as a JMO. Yeah,
Mm
his versatility to sling it, but then also use his legs changes every game that he's a part of. I mean, the dude, it's hard to stop the guy in open space.
hmm.
He can easily make you miss. He can dissect the defense. I mean, you think he's looking one way to one side of the field, but then he like Mahomes action, like no look pass to a corner
Yeah.
route on the other end. It's insane. So we obviously had to match up against that
Uh
week
huh.
one, and I mean, you can see the just when he steps onto the field, just his confidence, the way he carries himself. So hats off to him on that.
Exactly. No, I'm playing JMO a few times. I've been lucky enough to avoid him a decent amount, but no, I definitely agree. I know he had, I believe, from what his captain sent, a couple interceptions, but still 2 touchdown receptions, 2 passing touchdowns, or however many it was. Solid quarterback, like you said, makes people miss, just makes things happen.
Yeah.
My third pick, I still think is solid. I'm still going to keep it. Brady King. Again, played against him a few times. Again, have been lucky enough to kind of avoid him, but I truly think he's a playmaker. So able to extend the play, in my opinion, and he's also versatile and very accurate as well. And especially in this league, accuracy can kill. So we got a lot of good defenders here, but if you can throw it on a dime, you're going to win some games. So
Yeah.
taking him with my third pick still.
Yeah, good pick. Brady is he's a household name in the league for sure. I mean, he's been
Oh, yeah.
around. He hasn't been around since the very beginning, but I think he's been around for at least like 5 or 6 of the season so far. And the guy's got probably
I
the
think he's
prettiest
been
deep
around.
ball,
Yeah.
I think, out of all of them. I mean, the guy can sling it. I
Exactly.
mean, he played quarterback in high school, so he's got the background. So I'm rocking with that
Yeah,
pick.
exactly.
And rounding it out with my third pick, I wanted to go with TCU's quarterback, Low Kid. And
Yep.
no shade to him. I just haven't seen it yet. So I'm going with recency bias here. I'm rolling with
Okay.
he's not a rookie in the league, but he is rookie at quarterback. He's never classified as a true quarterback. He played receiver in past seasons, but I'm rocking with Ty Freeman, Notre Dame's quarterback. Now we faced up against him in the it was one of the pregame scrimmages, and he completely dissected us. And like he's mobile too.
Yep.
I think the highlights that I posted from week one onto the socials from the drone footage, you can see him rolling out of the pocket, evading pressure. So I always like to see that, especially now that defenses in this league have become so aware of the effectiveness of the blitz. I like Ty's ability to throw on the run. Same with Dylan. He almost kind of has that like baseball background. He played baseball in high school, so he's got the fluidity with his arm and his hips when he is on the move. So I'm rocking with that. Anytime that a quarterback's mobile, I think that can prove to be effective in this league.
Yeah, I know. And I'm going to give an honorable mention because, I mean, just seeing the stats of him, unless he typed them wrong to me. But again, I wasn't there to see it. But also obviously, I think I mentioned earlier, but your MVP pick for the preseason. But Josh Nelson told me he had 5 passing touchdowns. Cannot confirm nor deny that. So it's an unofficial stat, but I do believe it.
Yeah. I've
And
got
I
some
mean,
of them on
again,
tape, I
I've
think.
faced Josh a lot. I've faced Josh a lot. I mean, we know him, obviously. Great dude in general, but heck of a ball player. Anywhere you put him on the field, offense, defense, quarterback, receiver, doesn't matter where he's at. He's going to make some plays. So, I mean, are you keeping that as your MVP as well?
Hands down. Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'm
I've
still going
doubted
to
Josh
stick
in
with
the
Xavier.
past, and I've doubted Josh in the past. It made me eat my words. I think I'm done hedging my bets against Josh, so I'm all in, all chips in.
I think I'm still going to go with Xavier. I mean, I think Xavier is just an all-around football player. Even if stats might not reflect in some areas, I think the hustle gets there. I mean, just little things that can make plays. Like I said, might not be on the stat sheet, but I think Xavier is one of the best overall players we have here.
Yeah.
I mean,
can't argue with
looking
that
into
here.
some of the. I mean, how can you? Exactly. Looking into some of these other stats that some of these guys sent me, I'm just going to read them off to you. I didn't send them to you because I just needed a live reaction. So some of these guys are going to be problems for teams. So first off, I'm going to go ahead. Ole Miss, James Gray, 2 defensive interceptions, and then also had a touchdown reception. Joe Frazier, I think, is possibly in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, already with the most flag pulls on his team. Obviously, he has a touchdown reception with him. But also, when we moved over to that Tennessee team, I think we can make an argument for Cam. 5 touchdown receptions, 2 defensive interceptions, including 1 for a touchdown.
He caught all of 5 Josh's touchdowns.
All 5.
Now, holy smokes.
Now, it does say Ross had 3 passing touchdowns too, which Tennessee scored a lot.
Okay.
So, but still, I mean, 5 touchdown receptions include exactly with 2 interceptions, 1 being a pick 6. I mean, you got to throw him in the conversation.
Yep.
But even moving to the TCU team, Isaac with 3 passing touchdowns and an interception. I mean, I've seen better, but that's all right. I got to mention it anyway. Vaughn with 3 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown, so 4 total. We got some numbers. Even some new guys coming up, making some plays. Marcus Witt with a defensive interception. We got some playmakers on the field. I know we've talked about in the past, and even when we did the first podcast, not last season, but the season before, but like the league is only getting better when we talk about competition. And I even scrolling through these stats, I think that's even more apparent that everybody's just a solid athlete.
Yeah, there's really no cakewalks, which goes back to like what we were saying earlier with looking at the teams that are predicted near the bottom. It's just like I kind of read that and I'm just like, that's kind of nonsense. I mean, you look at how far this league has came, like you said, it's just like you can show up and just just pretend it's backyard football, but you're gonna get smoked. I mean, you are.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
like
any team can show up on any given day and use their athletes and just like blow.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree completely with that. I mean, at the end of I don't want to say the cliche like any given Sunday, but like I highly doubt that LSU team, knowing their captains, and same with Ole Miss, like I highly doubt they're going to let themselves go winless in this. And I mean, if for some reason in the regular season they do, I would still be nervous for them playing in the playoffs. Like you said before, there isn't a team that I'm like 100% like, oh, I would win that game. Like each team has their athletes, so and that competitive edge which can come out. And I mean, I think you guys' game against Ole Miss is going to be a good one this week. And I mean, yeah, LSU might need to figure some things out, and they don't have film on that TCU national quarterback, but you never know. Never know what could happen. Isaac could throw 10 picks. You don't know.
Yeah. kind of like I'm gonna go back to like what I just got done talking about, like backyard football. Backyard football, you can go out and you can rely on like your athleticism to win you games, but like the thing that's different about this league, because these teams are so balanced and because there's so much athleticism
Hmm.
all over, you have to start digging into
Yeah.
like the football knowledge. Like you got to dig into like the mental game, like drawing up plays, crafting up a defense that, can force turnovers, because that is what's going to win you games. And then the other thing that goes a little bit deeper is like, shout out to Xavier and Seth's team last year and then both of their teams now. Like I'm hearing good things. The teams that communicate win. Like the teams that are in their group
Yeah.
chats, even on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, talking, just kind of getting that camaraderie. Those are the teams that win. So if there's anybody that's still listening, almost 30-ish minutes still into this podcast, if there's any encouragement that I can
Yeah.
give to you, if you're a captain or if you're just a player on the team, is you got to get that chemistry and that communication going with your team to really take that team to the next level, because you can't just show up, like I
Right.
said earlier, and roll the ball out there like backyard football and expect to win. There's got to be planning. There's got to be communication. You have to actually like build relationships with your guys, and like talking like as a quarterback for like my team, like I feel weird saying as a quarterback because this is my first year playing quarterback in the league, but like I can feel the difference when I'm like throwing to Xavier, for example, who's not on my team, but we got together for a little workout this week. I can feel the difference throwing to Xavier because Xavier and I have been buddies for ever since we were like 5 years old, and we've played on teams together multiple times in this league. I can feel the difference throwing to
Yeah.
Xavier because we have that communication and that chemistry versus throwing to some guys on my team currently that I've never played with. Now that will come around, it was only week one, but
Right.
getting that chemistry and building relationships with the guys on your team, that is so key in this league. It's a thing that I think is slept on a lot. Like we look into like the stats and we look into, oh, this guy's 6'5". Oh, this guy can run maybe a sub 4.5 40. But like, man, what takes teams to the next level is communication. So if there's any encouragement to anybody that's listening, still communicate with your guys.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I've been in group chats. I mean, me, you, and Xavier were on the Texans together, and I mean, when we started 0-3, it was rough. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, we just communicated. We found our groove and ended up going 4-3, and then going a little bit into the playoffs. And so, I mean, like anything can happen. But like you said, communication is the biggest thing. Like just showing up on Sunday now with the talent we have in this league just isn't enough to win these games. And you have to have some sort of like connection with these guys. And like you said, not just play backyard football. Like we're just at that level of competition to where, I mean, you just need to step it up. Like you need to play as a team. You need to come together. And I think all the guys on the field can. It's just a matter of if we are going to or not. So, I mean, I think that's a good way to round it out. One last thing for two more things. One, I didn't do a coaches poll this week. I apologize. I just forgot. So we'll do a coaches poll for after week 2. Get those get those rankings in. Obviously, those aren't the actual rankings, but kind of acting like power rankings, see where everybody thinks everybody's at in the league without a bias of a record or anything of that nature. But rounding it out, remaining strength of schedule. I mentioned it a little bit before, but LSU still has the toughest road ahead of them. So it's only going to get harder from here. Indiana, second place, remaining there. Ole Miss, third place, still with that third toughest schedule. Notre Dame coming from the easiest schedule to now the fourth hardest remaining schedule. So they don't have a cakewalk either. I mean, obviously, they're going to play that TCU team in Oregon later on, but that Tennessee this week is going to be an interesting one. A TCU with that 5 spot dropped 1. Florida State moving up 1, being the 6th toughest schedule. Oregon and Tennessee being 7 and 8, respectively. Vanderbilt did drop 4 spots, so they now have the second easiest schedule. And then San Diego State catching a little bit of a break, technically, with the easiest schedule remaining based on ranking and stars and offensive and defensive production currently. So, I mean, we got a lot of shifting. Nothing has settled. Nothing is written in stone yet. As I said before, game of the week, that Notre Dame Tennessee game, but I would keep an eye on everything else for sure. But I'm excited. Week 2, it should be a good time. Should be a good time.
Yeah. With that being said, you cool if I pray us out of here and we'll wrap this up?
Let's do it. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Father God, thank you so much for what this league is. Thank you for just all the guys that are willing to come out and give up a couple hours of the evening and their Sundays every week to come out and just have a good time. But more than that, just build relationships with one another. And I pray that they are relationships that last longer than these next 8, 9 weeks of this season, Lord. I pray that they're relationships that last a lifetime. And I pray that we can find some brothers that we can lean on and be there for in times of need, to be, you know, I don't know, just a friend. Sometimes through dark times, all we need is just somebody to listen to us, Lord. So I pray that relationships that develop in this season can last forever, Lord. But I thank you most of all for sending your son Jesus to willingly die on the cross and to be the best example of grace and love and patience that we can ever look at, Lord. Lord, you love us fiercely, and there's nothing we can ever do to repay you for that. We thank you for your sacrifice on the cross and what it means for us. You willingly went with our name in mind, Lord. In his name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I love it. I appreciate it. I mean, what this league has done for, I mean, me personally and everybody, I mean, bringing us all together. Obviously, we know we're competitive, but just love every second of it. So glad I get to spend it with you, man. Everything that we get to do together, we've gotten closer, obviously, through the years. And then everybody listening, same with you. So definitely a great thing that we got here and just feel blessed to be a part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
But awesome. All right. I will see everybody in week 3.
All right, man. Good. So go ball out, everybody. Week 2.